The main antagonist of the Lost Masters arc are probably going to be the Lost Masters. But who are they, and why are they lost, and which of them will be the focus in Kingdom Hearts 4? It's a lot to think about. So the Lost Masters are a group of Keyblade Masters who led the Keyblade wielders of the ancient times, or Land of Fairy Tales, which is what the era of Kingdom Hearts Key and Union Cross takes place during. These masters disappeared after the Keyblade War that happened in their time, and wouldn't return until Kingdom Hearts 3's epilogue, all except one in Master Ava. These Lost Masters were referred to as the Foretellers, which included Masters Ava, Ira, Envy, Aced, Gula, and Lushu. The person who taught all of them, however, at the pinnacle is the Master of Masters, who I predict is going to be a lot of people's favorite characters soon, even if you haven't experienced the Key Saga. These 7 characters are to be a big focus in the next arc. At the ending of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, we see who was most likely the Master of Masters and perhaps Lushu with him. The Master is probably going to officially introduce himself to a lot of people with Kingdom Hearts 4. Lurking around all over, I do think he'll officially make contact with one of the Guardians in the next game, likely Sora. But we can probably expect to see even more of this character and Lushu in games like Missing Link that are coming soon. The world of Quadratum is still a massive mystery, and this is apparently the world the Master might have disappeared to before the Keyblade War in Daybreak Town, which makes it hard to tell how much the Master knows about this world or had figured out. Which, speaking of Quadratum, brings us to another mystery. Maybe one of the biggest, Yazora. This character was introduced to us in teasers in the base game, and as a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 3 and his DLC, which made quite the impression on fans. To a lot of people, dethroning Lingering Will is the hardest boss in the Kingdom Hearts series, and being the first time in the Kingdom Hearts series we got a bad and a good ending. Also, of course, the infamous car scene that had people going crazy and reignited passions from the mid to late 2000s. When we finally got a glimpse at Yozora, and we still don't know much about him at all, they made quite the entrance. I mean, dying like 1,000 times to a boss is definitely a good way to get a character stuck in your head. This character brings such a big element of mystery to just about everything, because we truly don't know how any of it will go. We still have zero context to this big scene we got at the beginning of Toy Box, the Verum Rex trailer. It's all just pure theories and speculation, which one I have is that Sora won't be the first to interact with Yazora. Not in KH4 at least, or not in the Lost Masters Saga. I think that's going to be Riku. My only real basis for this is from what we saw in the Kingdom Hearts 3 secret ending, with Yazora looking down at Riku from the building, and I think this is teasing a confrontation between the two. Yazora does look a lot like Riku, a lot more like Riku than Sora, and I think there's 1,000% a story reason for that. Or some sort of contrast they want Riku and Yozora to have. I mean, hey, Riku was supposed to be the original Keyblade wielder. Something to think about. Fighting Yazora as Riku sounds extremely exciting, and I think this could be an easy way for Riku to get trapped in Quadratum himself, giving Riku a bigger reason to, stay there rather than finding Sora, escaping. I seriously doubt it's going to be that simple. They're going to get caught up in something. Riku might end up being trapped there along with Sora. I could see that happening. But that's assuming that Riku's even playable in Kingdom Hearts 4, which I personally think he will be, even if it's in a small segment. The finale to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross gave us a lot of insight into the Master's overall plan and his state of mind going into this saga. The Master, although I predict will be our antagonist at first, has a plan to defeat darkness, perhaps for good. Darkness in quotations, not the vague darkness we've seen throughout the entire series, concentrated darkness, the being we see in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross. Seemingly the core of all the darkness that we've seen throughout the entire series, perhaps the entire world, universe of Kingdom Hearts. This is it. This darkness can't do any major damage to the world without a host or form to possess. Though them possessing a form is also a weakness. When possessing a form, they leave themselves vulnerable to be trapped or destroyed. The 7 strongest darknesses out of the 13 that there are meant to go into the Foretellers and then, be destroyed while inside them. That's the Master's plan, in simple terms. The Master training his apprentices for this to be strong enough to withstand this darkness to ultimately have it defeated while inside them. What essentially sounds like a ultimate sacrifice. But his apprentices didn't know this or choose this, so naturally, Luxu, when this was told to him, did not take kindly to hearing this information at all. However, the master apparently has a safety plan in place so that he doesn't have to do the sacrificing part. Though the master has already lied to his apprentices before about the lost page and purposely causing division amongst them, which helped lead to Daybreak Town's Keyblade War, also having thousands die on his watch time and time and time again while sitting in the background, it's a toss-up on whether the master can truly be trusted to protect his apprentices if a chance to kill off darkness for good arrives. Also, the master's relationship with darkness is still in question as well. The darkness referring to the master as a friend, though we clearly see that they're kind of like rivals of sorts, but the context to that has still yet to be told. I get a feeling we'll be told a lot more about that way into the future. The interesting part of the Lost Masters being antagonists or villains for at least a little bit is that all sides are against darkness, which makes me really excited to get invested in the storyline of this arc. What sounds like it will be a saga that will go way deeper than light good and darkness bad, and the potential dialogue interactions we could get off of this should be really cool to experience. Quadratum is said to be a world that doesn't follow the traditional rules of light and darkness, but I don't know, this being in this city, it looks a lot like darkness to me, but hey, it could have just found its way here, just like how it found its way into the Guardians worlds. Though that's a discussion for another day. I think the Master and Luxu are going to be a big focal point of the next arc. I do think we're going to see a little bit of the other Foretellers as well in the Realm of Light, but I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more of the Master and Luxu, as I'm expecting to spend a decent amount of time in Quadratum, so getting a lot of the Master's perspective, and I'm sure that a lot of people are going to go into Kingdom Hearts 4 even a couple of years from now without experiencing Kingdom Hearts Key at all. The devs are likely very aware of that, so this will be a reintroduction to the Master of Masters for a lot of people, or just a completely new introduction to a different character entirely, so they're going to have to make an impression. And KH4 is not going to be the only game in the Lost Masters arc, more than likely. We could probably end up getting a KH5, maybe another non-numbered title here and there. It's hard to tell how long this next arc is going to end up being, but I'm definitely going to have fun being along for the ride. Let me know what you think about the antagonist of the next arc and who you think will be the main villain going into Kingdom Hearts 4 in the comment section down below. Other than that, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out to you guys. Bye.
Now she's a daydreamer. She's always thinking about it. No more room in this picture for you to fit in. Now she's crying on the phone, telling you she's not good enough for him. When you think that she is perfect.